Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the wonderful world of plants. That's right. It's time to start taking a look at what plants do for us, what they're made of, and all of that fun stuff, because there are a lot of them around the world. You ready to go, Bones? All right, let's do this. All right, so what we're going to start talking about today is the basic structures of plants, okay? And we're going to focus on three main structures and move on from there. So, like my sunflowers? I like them. Do you like them, Bone? I think they look nice. Okay, moving on. Okay, first thing you need to know about plants. Plants are autotrophic. Now, what does that mean? Autotrophic means that plants can make their own food. Okay, they don't need to go hunt. They don't eat. They don't go to McDonald's and have a Big Mac or anything like that. They make their own food in order for them to be able to carry out their life functions. And the main food that they make is sugar. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. Now, plants do something for us. They provide us with food and oxygen. Oxygen is a good thing. I love breathing oxygen. It keeps me alive. And even though if we don't necessarily eat a plant directly, let's say we want a burger. Okay, burger's made of cows. Well, the cow ate a plant in order for us to get our burger. So plants are very important for keeping everybody alive here on the planet. Okay, so what's our basic structures of plants? The basic structures of plants are very similar to that of human beings. The first structure we're going to talk about are the roots. The roots are the part of the plant that is responsible for absorbing water and nutrients in order to stay alive. Most of the time they're underground, but sometimes you can see them above ground too. Okay, so some food is actually stored in the root. And the second thing that a root does for a plant is it actually anchors the root into the ground so it doesn't fall over. Sometimes when a hurricane happens, you can see trees get ripped out of the ground and you can actually see the roots expose out of the ground after they fall to the ground. So we've got a couple different roots here. We've got this big tree root that you can see here. Carrots are roots. Yep, we eat roots. There's a lot of nutrients in them. And here's some ginseng. Okay, I love ginseng. Ginseng's really good in different kinds of teas, sushi, things like that. Okay, so roots, they anchor the plant to the ground and they're responsible for absorbing nutrients. It's kind of like the tree's feet. Okay. The next major part of the plant that you guys need to know about is the stem. This is kind of like the body of the plant, okay? The stem transports water and nutrients from the roots to the leaves and all throughout the plant. Just like we have arteries and veins and our blood moves through our arteries and veins in order to get to our entire body, plants have this similar structure, and that's within the stem, okay? It mainly transports this stuff called glucose. Glucose is a fancy word that means sugar. Okay, it's made in the leaves, and that sugar has to go to all the different places in the plant, so the stem helps it get there. Okay, it also supports the plant and all of its structures. The stem, stands up nice and tall for the leaves to get some sunshine and enjoy the nice weather and stuff like that. So the stem, okay, it's a very important part of the plant because it's the transportation system of the plant. Water, nutrients gets to move around. And it supports all the structures, just like our body supports our arms and our head and stuff like that. There's two different kinds of stems. There's the brown stem that we call woody stems, okay, which we commonly see in trees and certain types of bushes. And then there's a herbaceous stem, which is a green stem, okay? Both do the same thing. Both are made of similar structures, but all in all, it helps transport the glucose that they make or the sugar that they make in the leaves, okay? And it supports the plant itself. Now, certain stems are actually found underground. For instance, onions and potatoes. Onions and potatoes are underground stems that actually store food. Celery is an above ground stem that supports food. And if you ever break the celery apart, it gets very stringy. Those stringy things are important because that's what helps water and sugar move throughout the plant. We'll talk more about that in a minute. All right, here's that stringy stuff that I was talking about when you break open a piece of celery. Inside the stem of a plant, there's two structures. It's called xylem and phloem, okay? They're kind of like the arteries and veins of the plant. Now, xylem is a tissue that carries water and dissolved minerals up from the roots. So xylem causes things to go up in the plant. This stuff called phloem, okay, starts with a pH. is the tissue that carries the food or the sugar and glucose, remember glucose, fancy word for sugar, from the leaves down to the rest of the plants. And you can see in these pictures, they're just tubes. They're big, long tubes or straws. Now, how can you remember which one causes materials to travel which direction? Well, I like comics. I'm into it. Marvel's awesome. Xylem. I look at Xylem and I think X-Men. What do X-Men tend to do? If they have to fly, they fly up into the air. So just even from junior high, when I was learning this stuff for the first time, I remember Xylem, X-Men. X-Men fly, and which way do you have to go to fly? You fly up. So you remember Xylem carries things up through the stem because X-Men can fly. Some of them anyway. Now, phloem I like to remember because things tend to flow downhill. Okay, water flows downhill. So it's just very chill flow going down. All right, so xylem causes things to move up. Phloem flows downhill. And those are the two structures in the stem that help carry all of the materials, the water, the nutrients, the sugar around the plant. That brings us to our third main structure that we're going to talk about today, the leaf. The leaf is very important, okay? This is the site of gas exchange, okay? And this is also where photosynthesis takes place. Now, we learned in our last unit in the cell that plant cells have this special stuff called chloroplast, okay? And chloroplast has this green pigment in it called chlorophyll. Well, this is where photosynthesis takes place and sugar is made for the plant. This is where they make their food. Okay, they are autotrophs. They don't go hunting and eating food. They can make it themselves when they're exposed to sunlight. We're going to talk more about exactly how photosynthesis works in another video. So now the leaves have these pores in it, okay, that allows water vapor and carbon dioxide to move in and out of it, kind of like our lungs. Our lungs allow oxygen and carbon dioxide to be changed out of our bodies. The leaf kind of does the same thing, except the cool part about the leaf, it is also making the food because of photosynthesis. So the leaves have pores in them, okay, that allow for gas transfer to happen, to gas exchange to happen. That's an important piece of the leaf. Remember that one. Now, what are those pores called that I was talking about before inside the leaf? They're called the stoma and the guard cells. They kind of work together, okay? The stoma is the actual pore in the leaf where oxygen and carbon dioxide move in and out of it. Okay, you can see here, this opening right here, that's called the stoma. You can see it. This is a microscopic view of a real leaf. That's called the stoma. Okay, when it's open, gas exchange can occur. Okay, sometimes it needs to close depending on the environment and the weather conditions at the time. That's the job of the guard cells. They do exactly what it says. The guard cells guard the stoma. Okay, it opens and closes the stoma to control what's moving in and out of the cell. All right, so the leaf, a lot of things happen there, okay, but especially photosynthesis and gas exchange, very important points. Now, if we were to look at a leaf, this is what the side angle would look like, a cross section of it. It has an epidermis, a skin, just like we do. It's full of chloroplasts, which what does chloroplast do for us? What do chloroplasts do for the leaf bones? That's right, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis happens because of the chloroplasts and the chlorophyll that they're filled up with. Very good. Now we've got the guard cells here. They're guarding the stoma, and that allows, remember, a gas exchange to occur, oxygen and carbon dioxide to move in and out of the leaf. And then we've got our xylem or phloem, also known as our veins. Now, bones. Which one carries materials up? Was it the xylem or phloem? I can't remember. The xylem, that's right. How'd you remember that? X-Men can fly. That's right. X-Men fly up into there. Xylem causes objects to move up. Phloem causes things to flow down. And that's what you need to know about the three main structures of a plant.